Now, ladies, you've probably heard a lot about fasting. Maybe you've tried it, different types, and maybe you've had mixed results. You know, what I've heard from a lot of women is sometimes it works great. I feel great. I can power through. I'm losing weight. My mind feels fantastic. There's other times when I just can't fast to save my life. I'm getting cravings galore. I can't focus. I'm irritable. I've got all this food noise and my weight is not even going down. Right? Does that sound like you? Okay. Now, what changed? Right? Same woman, same plan, different outcome. But what really changed was your hormones, right? And probably you haven't been shown by anybody why you need to adapt not just your fasting, but your food to your hormones. And we're going to get into that in this video. So stay tuned. Welcome to this video, guys. I hope you're well. It's your boy Kenny back with another one. So we're talking about fasting, particularly for women in this segment. And I want to go through and talk about, what are the different hormones that women need to, need to take note of, need to bear in mind, and how that affects fasting and food and even exercise around your menstrual cycle, right? It's a very important topic, and it's going to explain why you may feel different at certain times of the month and why the same approach may not be right for you all throughout the month, right? And unfortunately, this is not taught in school, right? It's not really known a lot by us, so women don't really know these things, right? And they're fighting hard, pushing hard, and trying to adapt a man's strategy to a woman's body, and it was never meant to be that way, right? So we're going to get into this right now. So let me get another sip, my bitter tea, and let's get into it, ladies, right? So I want to take you over here. Let's pay attention right here, okay? We've got men and we've got women, right? Now, we've probably heard of testosterone and estrogen, right? Now, for men work differently to women, right? We are hormonally different. We really only have to focus on one hormone, and that's testosterone, right? That pulses through by the testes every 15 minutes, and that gets converted a little bit to estrogen as well. And it's like a 24-hour cycle, right? So we really work on a 24-hour basis. It is pretty straightforward for men, right? It's pretty simple. So we really only need to worry about testosterone when it comes to, this kind of thing, right? Especially when it comes to our sex hormones. But for women, you guys probably heard of estrogen, okay? Estrogen, which is responsible for the growing of an egg, okay? Testosterone, testosterone is important for women as well. It has its place. We're going to talk about that. But the one that gets missed out a lot is progesterone, okay? Progesterone is a hormone, a third hormone that needs to be factored in when it comes to women, and it has a vital role in the menstrual cycle process, okay? So let's come down here, right? The ones that are really, really kind of specific to women are estrogen and progesterone. Now, we need to kind of consider these two as like sisters, right? They're like sisters with different personalities, yeah? So estrogen is kind of like the outgoing sister, okay? She is all about extrovertness. She wants you to be out there. She wants you to crush things. She encourages fasting. She encourages kind of like being dangerous and being out there. And she's kind of like your extroverted side. Progesterone is that side of you that wants to stay indoors and doesn't want to talk to nobody and wants to be nurtured and eat all your favorite foods and all that kind of stuff, right? Two sisters, vitally important sex hormones, but two different characteristics, okay? And it's very, very important to notice that, because these two, right, will affect what you do throughout your cycle, okay? Now let's break down the average cycle for a woman, okay? Now let's say it's a 28-day cycle, right, or a 30-day cycle. So this is what usually happens, right? It's breaking down into 4 phases. We've got the first 10 days, which we call your power phase. Then we've got your ovulation phase, which is usually around day 11 to 16, sometimes 17, but typically 11 to 16 is your ovulation period, right? And you're probably familiar with that. Some of you maybe track your cycle, some of you don't, but I definitely would recommend to track your cycle, especially after learning this, so you can know and start implementing this into your regime, right? Into your health routine. Then you've got a second power phase. You've got a little gap a few days between when you ovulate and the last week of your cycle. We call this the second power phase. We're going to get into that, why it's called that. And then you've got the last week of your cycle, day 21 plus, right? If it's a 30-day cycle, then it'll probably be like day 23 plus, okay? The last week of your cycle, we call this the nurture phase, okay? Or the luteal phase, right? So we've got 4 phases here, but each one has its own characteristics, and these hormones vary in different amounts in each phase, okay? So let's talk about that right now. So the first 10 days of your cycle, the power phase, right? Now, day 1 is when you start your cycle. That's when you bleed. That's when you start menstruating, okay? So that counts as day 1, right, of your cycle. Now, what typically happens here is that estrogen, remember, that hormone that is responsible for the release of an egg, the extrovert, she starts to grow. She starts to grow up, right? But for her to grow up, she thrives when glucose and insulin is down, okay? So what that means is that she kind of likes a more of a lower carb diet, right? So you probably tried keto or heard of it in your life. Many of you have tried it, but that style of eating is very favorable in the first 10 days of your cycle because estrogen loves it when insulin and glucose is down. So any food that spikes your blood sugars, carbohydrates, starches, that kind of thing, is not really estrogen's friend. So anything that's low in carbohydrates, okay, your fats, your proteins, that kind of thing, very, very good for this type of the cycle. And it also helps to clean up your ovaries as well, right? Another thing is fasting, right? Fasting is very, very preferable here. Estrogen thrives upon fasting. Estrogen likes your body to fast, and that will help to actually clean up your ovaries. So in this time, fasting can be taken advantage of. So what I typically say is anywhere over 16 hours of fasting, that whole intermittent fasting loop is perfect here. You can go beyond as well and gain some great benefits of fasting too. Go to 17, 18 hours, right? That's when autophagy happens and your cells start to detox. But 16 hours is great here. Typically like a 2 meal a day kind of situation. 16 hours of fasting, fantastic. And if you've got weight loss goals, really, really good for that too. But what I would say is that you can start this from day 1 or typically maybe from day 3 onwards, because I know for a lot of you in the first few days, you may feel a bit meh. You may feel like, you still kind of want to comfort yourself a little bit more and still kind of take aspects of your nurture phase into this power phase here. So that's completely understandable, right? So if you're going to have a carby meal, make sure it's only just one, right? But low carb is fantastic here. You want to drive those glucose down. That includes fruits as well. You want to go for low glycemic fruits. So your berries are great here, stuff like that. Cherries are also good too. Apples, pears, they're not bad as well, but low sugar. You don't want like the mangoes and the pineapples and the, all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah. And then, like I said, extrovert, right? Estrogen is an extrovert. So after this few days of maybe feeling meh, this is when you want to push, right? All of your health goals, all of your health habits, you want to push. You kind of see it as you're flowing out, right? Kind of like literally, but it's also an opportunity for you to come out into the world as well, right? So that means that, workouts you can push, right? You can push in terms of meetings, right? Maybe at work, if you've got big tasks or workloads to do or whatever, you want to be a bit more out there as well, more extroverted socially or whatever. This is the time that it works with your hormones, okay? So days 1 to 10, this is why it's called your power phase. Now, if we go on to days 11 to 16, you will ovulate in one of these days. Typically for a lot of you, it'll be around 15, 16, sometimes 17 if you've got like a longer cycle, but you will have ovulate in this time. So it's called your ovulation period. This is where you will release an egg, okay? And this is where you are obviously most fertile as well, your ovulation period. Now, there's a few things that happen here hormonally. Estrogen is going to peak right now, okay? It's really peaked. So when it peaks, that's when you release an egg. But another thing as well is testosterone peaks as well for the only time in your cycle here too. And this is big because testosterone, yes, it's sex drive, right? So it's about kind of like you being ready to procreate, but it's also desire and drive and motivation, right? So you can use that to your advantage. So that also means in this time, with estrogen and testosterone both being high, you've got access to both hemispheres of your brain. So typically in this time here, you're kind of very creative. You know, if you've got creative prowess as a woman, this will be optimized in this time. You're very verbal. You'll be good at verbally, like processing your words and talking and speaking and getting it out there. You'll be motivated, drive, right? It's also a great time to get your workouts in and build muscle because you've got that peak of testosterone. So you can build muscle, which is really good for weight loss and metabolic health, PCOS, pre-diabetes. You want to be able to build muscle in this time. So it's really, really good to do that here, okay? Also, progesterone starts to kick in a little bit here too, right? Now, one thing about progesterone is she kind of likes carbs up a little bit. So what I would say in this period is you want to have at least 1 carb meal. Here, preferably, you want kind of like low carb. Here, you want to bring up carbs a little bit, right? So typically have a good carb meal in this period of time. And that will work well with your workouts too, give you energy to actually perform and recover in your workouts as well. So very, very, very good here. Fasting, because progesterone's coming up a little bit and she doesn't like fasting too much, we'll talk about that here. You want to typically be in the 13 to 15 hour range of fasting. So not as high as 16-hour plus for your power phase, a bit shorter over here, right? So a little bit of fasting, not too high. So typically maybe you can have 3 meals, okay, in the day. You can have a breakfast, lunch and dinner. But you want just the 1 carb meal, right? Preferably, okay? So that's really what's going on there, right? So this is how those hormones affect how long you fast and what you actually eat. Another thing here is really important is gut foods I've got here, right? In this time when you've got all of these hormones, estrogen, testosterone, your gut is responsible for breaking a lot of these hormones down. So because of that, you want your gut health to be good. So it's also extra important for your veggies to be up here, for your probiotic foods. So your fermented foods, your sauerkrauts, your kimchi, your kefir, but your vegetables as well, right? Your prebiotics, so your vegetables, your greens, foods like sweet potato and plantain and all that kind of stuff, because they're going to feed the good bacteria as well as add good bacteria to your gut as well. And that's going to be good for breaking down these hormones as well. So you want to make sure that you're bringing in those gut foods here. I'm probably going to add like a little gut foods guide as well, and in the description to this video. Okay, guys. So that's your ovulation phase. Kind of cool, man. Kind of cool, right? So yeah, that's what's going on in your ovulation phase. Then you're going to ovulate, right? And that's the day where obviously you will release an egg. Now, after that happens, you're going to go into a second power phase, typically day 17 to 20, right? But this could be something like days 19 to 23 or 20 to 23, something like that if you've got a longer 30-day cycle. What happens here is you have a dip in your hormones, okay? So the estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, they dip, and this is a perfect opportunity for your body to actually fast again. So you can go back to your original power phase and do longer fasts, 16-hour plus fasts, right? 2 meals a day. You can even try OMAD here if you want to. I know a lot of you guys like to do OMAD sometimes. So these times here, your power phases are great opportunities to do any kind of OMAD, or even if, I don't know, once every 3 months you want to do like a longer fast, like a 36-hour or, 48-hour, something like that, okay? These are great times to do that. Your body wants you to fast. So remember when I was saying that there's times when you can't fast and your body doesn't want you to, but there's times when fasting feels effortless. It should start to sync around this, right? This is a good explanation as to why. So again, low carb, keto kind of meals, okay? So low starches, low sugars, that kind of thing, okay? You can have your vegetables, because even though they do have carbohydrates, they're not so high. Try and avoid the starches though. Try and avoid, the breads, the pastas especially, but rice, potatoes, all that kind of stuff. Try and avoid that and go for more of your proteins, your healthy fats, avocados, nuts, seeds, fish, meat, you know, chicken, turkey, that kind of stuff, salads, that kind of food. Okay. Now, day 21 plus, the last week of your cycle, essentially the last 7 days of your cycle. Okay. This is typically when you may feel the cravings, you may want chocolate and all that kind of stuff, which is perfectly normal. This is your nurture phase. The reason why you're craving those foods is because that hormone progesterone, okay, remember, she's the introvert, right? She's the introvert. She is rising right now. She's rising right now, and she likes a few things. The first thing she likes is cortisol to be low. Progesterone don't like no stress, no wahala. Okay, she don't like that. Let me take a nice little sip of this actually before I get into it. All right, guys, no wahala, no wahala. So remember that progesterone don't like no wahala. Another saying or like a little phrase that might help you is progesterone gets shy when cortisol gets high. Okay, progesterone gets shy when cortisol gets high. She don't like no stress. So what that means is anything that could potentially stress your body, we don't want to do that. We want to manage that as much as possible. So the things that will create stress in your body are fasting. Fasting is beneficial, but it does create a stress in your body. You don't want that. So no fasting in this time. So have your 3 meals, have your breakfast, lunch and dinner. Eat, comfort yourself. Progesterone wants that. Workouts are going to stress your body as well. Although a good stress at times, but you want to relax yourself, calm yourself down. Okay. You don't want no stress. You want even tone. You want to calm yourself down. You want chill vibes. You want to nurture yourself. See it as a way of going in, whereas the estrogen, your power phases, are a way of coming out. Here, you're coming in, you're nurturing yourself, you're being attuned to yourself. Okay. Ignoring these things is what causes the PMS symptoms, the cravings, the mood swings, irregular periods, the painful periods. Ignoring progesterone and what she needs is what causes a lot of these things, right? And a lot of women don't understand why they're going through all of these crazy symptoms. That's the reason why, okay? So don't ignore progesterone. Don't go to the gym in this week, your last week of your cycle. Just walk. Walking is fine. Sauna, Pilates, right? That kind of thing. Just take care of yourself. Comfort yourself as well. Food-wise, progesterone likes glucose. So you've got perfect opportunity to bring up your carbs here, okay? Which is also the reason why I would say something like keto, although can be great for some women and specifically for certain women with certain health issues, or maybe they're at a place in their weight loss journey where they need drastic weight loss, they need a lot of weight loss, very insulin resistant, whatever it may be, fatty liver, keto could be very, very beneficial. But generally speaking, your hormones don't want keto all the time. Too much of this, too much of fasting will create a stress in your body that your hormones don't want. Progesterone likes no fasting, and she likes more healthy glucose, more healthy sugar. So, your healthy carbs, all right? We're talking about, good rice. We're talking about quinoa. We're talking about sweet potato. Sweet potato is progesterone's best friend. Plantain, yams, the cultural dishes that you like, right? The swallows, the millet and all that kind of stuff. Perfect over here, right? Get yourself a good version of pasta. Like what I recommend for my clients is the legume pastas, like pea pasta and lentil pasta and all that kind of stuff. Lentils, again, chickpeas, they're all great here, okay? But also tropical fruits, sugary fruits as well. They're also great here, okay? So here you can typically have 1 to 2 carb meals, okay? And I typically tell my weight loss clients as well, here is like a maintenance week, right? You're probably not going to lose weight here, but what you're doing for your hormones is bigger than just simply weight loss. That's going to allow your hormones to be balanced so you can smash it here, okay? So these are the things that you want to do, right? You want to slow down. Guys, I can't stress this enough. If you have the opportunity and you're very busy at work, if you have the opportunity to postpone big meetings and big tasks, if it's within your control, do that. If it isn't, obviously, you have to do what you can do. But this is what progesterone wants, okay? So guys, as you can see, right? Same woman, different hormonal response, different hormones kicking in at different times of your cycle, which requires a different response when it comes to food, fasting, right? And just the way that you appear out here in the world, okay? So I hope this is a good breakdown. I hope this helps, right? And gives you an idea of how to start approaching your menstrual cycle to work with your hormones and not against it, all right? So I've put this out in an actual written form, a guide that you can also find in the description of this video. So check that out as well, guys, right? So that's a good resource for you. But also as well, guys, if you want personalized help, right? If you want personalized help, because every woman's different. Some women have a longer cycle. Some women want to be able to incorporate certain foods into their lifestyle. Some women need the help navigating all of this in real life. If you're one of these women, right, and you want personalized help, click the link in the bio and book a call, right? Book a call. Let's have a chat. Let's see what's going on with you. Let's discuss it. Let's have a chat and see if I can help, right? And if so, we can move on from there. All right, guys. So like I said, I hope this helps. Let me know what you want to see. If you like it, get in the comments, give me a thumbs up. Liking the video really helps me out. Give it a comment, share it as well to other women too. Share it to your man, to your brother, to your dad. The more men understand about this as well, the better, that we can really work together and come from a place of empathy and understanding as opposed to a place of ignorance, right? So I hope this helps, guys. Much love. Take care. Stay blessed. See you in the next video. Peace.